Good morning, students. Today we will be covering all the important facts and definition from the syllabus. And I am starting with chapter 3rd of your history book, which is about the Delhi Sultans. So the important points or the important things you need to remember in this chapter, let's quickly revise that. You need to learn that Delhi became the capital of a kingdom first under the Tomar Rajput. So who were the first rulers of Delhi? Yeah, who were the first rulers who made Delhi their capital? Tomar Rajputs. And which kind of merchants were popularly living in Delhi at that period of time? That were Jain merchants. And what was the coins which were minted over there in Delhi was called? They were called Delhi Wals. Okay. And what were the important cities? What were the important cities or places or towns in Delhi at that point of time? For that there is a map also. You need to remember that Delhi, Khulna, Siri, Jahanabad, Tughlaqabad, Firozabad were the important points over there. Then you need to learn about the dynasties. In Rajput dynasty, Tomar Rajputs were there, and after that it was followed by Chauhans. In Turkish rulers, you need to understand the importance of Qutbuddin Aybak, Shamsuddin Iltutmish, Razia, and Ghiyasuddin Balban. Then there is Khalji dynasty, and Alauddin Khilji was the important Sultan of that dynasty. After that, Tughlaq dynasty, and Muhammad Tughlaq was the main ruler in that period. It was followed by Sayyid dynasty and then Lodi dynasty. So this was about the Delhi Sultans you need to understand. You need to revive the importance of the writers of Tariq, the authors of Tariq, their importance in the society. Okay, and how they appreciated the ideas of birthright and gender distinction. In the case of Razia Sultan, you need to revive how the writers of Tariqs appreciate that gender distinctions. They just take it by granted that only the son, the male, can succeed to the throne. When Razia was succeeded to the throne, they were very uncomfortable with the thought that their ruler is a queen. So you need to revive the definition of birthright, what is birthright and what is gender distinction. As I have suggested you to go through do the reading of the chapters. All these facts I am talking about, they are either written in the bold letters or they are in special dialogue box. So give special attention to these specifically written things. Then you need to understand what is hinterland, what is garrison town. The fortified settlement with soldiers is known as garrison towns, and the land adjacent to a city or port which supply it with goods and services was called hinterland. So these were two important structures. You might be asked what is internal frontiers and what do you understand by external frontiers. That is also important. So you need to cover this also, that internal frontiers are the areas which is are consolidating the hinterlands of the garrison town. So by the end of the Muhammad Tughlaq's reigns, what new beginnings happened, you also need to revive that things. And then we will need to focus on the type of architectural structure which was prevalent in that time. You need to know that a mosque is called masjid in Arabic. And what is a mosque? Mosque is a place where the Muslims read their prayer, which is called namaz. Okay, and the learned male leader of this community is called Imam. He performs all the rituals of the prayer and he is a respected personality in the Muslim community. And on every Friday prayer he delivers some khutbah. ओके तो ये टर्मिनोलॉजीज हैं छोटी छोटी जो आपको पता होनी चाहिए. ओके एक और फैक्ट कि मुस्लिम स्टैंड फेसिंग मक्का इन इंडिया, दिस इज टू द वेस्ट, और उनकी उस डायरेक्शन को किबला बोलते हैं। तो आपको क्वेश्चन आ सकता है व्हाट इज किबला? Qibla is the direction in which Muslim stands while offering their namaz or their prayer. उसके बाद कितनी मॉस्क बनी है दिल्ली के अंदर उस टाइम पे, दिल्ली सुल्तान्स के टाइम पे, दैट इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट। जैसे मॉस्क ऑफ जमाली, कमाली, मौत की मस्जिद, ये सब आपको, बेगमपुरी मॉस्क, ये इन सब के बारे में आपको पता होना चाहिए, राइट। इसके बाद व्हाट आर द लाइक स्पेशल स्लेव्स कॉल्ड, जो कि मिलिट्री सर्विसेज के लिए ही परचेज किए जाते थे, उनको बंदागन बोलते थे। और सुल्तान इल्तुतमिश ने इस चीज को स्टार्ट किया था, ही हैज स्टार्टेड दिस थिंग। Then you need to understand the definition of client, someone who is under the protection of other. लाइक क्लाइंट्स इसके अंदर क्या है कि द खलजीज और तुगलक्स ने कंटिन्यू किया था ये बंदागंज के ट्रेंड को, और एंड ऑल्सो रेज्ड पीपल ऑफ हम्बल बर्थ हु वर ऑफन कॉल्ड क्लाइंट्स टू हाई पॉलिटिकल पोजीशन। क्यों किया था उन्होंने? इसलिए अपने विश्वास पात्रों को बढ़ाने के लिए उन्होंने ये क्लाइंट्स को जो था हायर पॉलिटिकल पोजीशन देनी शुरू कर दी थी। तो दीज आर व्हाट इन दिस चैप्टर यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज इकत एंड व्हाट इज इकतदार या मुक्ति। प्लीज दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, इसको जरूर हमने याद करना है, क्योंकि जो उनके मिलिट्री कमांडर्स थे जो गवर्न करते थे टेरिटोरीज को और हेल्प करते थे उनको एट द टाइम ऑफ वॉर, उनको अपनी सेना के साथ, उनको इकतदार बोला जाता था, क्योंकि उनको इकत दी जाती थी, लैंड दी जाती थी, जिससे जिसकी जो अर्निंग थी उनको वो यूटिलाइज करते थे अपनी सैलरी में, और बाकी जितने भी उनके वहां पर रह रहे हैं लोग उनको मेंटेन करने के लिए। तो इकतदार क्या होता था और इकत क्या होती थी, दिस थिंग यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड। इस पर्टिकुलर पैराग्राफ को आप बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से रीड करेंगे। ओके इकत की ड्यूटीज क्या थी? ड्यूटीज ऑफ मुक्तीज की क्या ड्यूटी थी? मुक्तीज इकतदार को ही बोलते हैं। जस्ट रिमेम्बर दैट मुक्तीज एंड इकतदार आर सिनोनिम्स। तो आपको ये भी पूछा जाता है व्हाट इज द ड्यूटीज ऑफ इकतदार या व्हाट आर द ड्यूटीज ऑफ मुक्तीज। उनको क्या करना होता था? दे वर सपोज टू लीड मिलिट्री कैंपेन्स एंड मेंटेन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर इन देयर इकत्स। Okay, and in exchange of their military services, the Muktis collected the revenue of their assignment as salary. They also paid their soldiers from these revenues. Control over Muktis was very effective if their office was not inheritable. क्या रूल था उनका कि जिस एरिया को अगर किसी फादर ने मतलब उसने उसको एज अ मुक्ति या इकतदार उस एरिया पे मतलब अपने लाइफ स्पैन के टाइम में उसके ऊपर कंट्रोल रखा है, तो उसके बाद उसके बेटे को वो ही नहीं दिया जाता था, ताकि किसी पर्टिकुलर फैमिली का होल्ड ना हो जाए, उसको फिर शिफ्ट कर दिया जाता था। ये एक ट्रेंड होता था सुल्तान्स का कि एक ही जगह पर एक ही इंसान की पावर जो है वो इतनी ना हो जाए कि उनके लिए एक थ्रेट बन जाए। तो वो क्या करते थे, उनके जो ऑफिसेस होते थे ये जो इकतदार्स के, ये कभी भी मुक्तीस के, ये कभी भी जो है जनरेशन टू जनरेशन पास ऑन नहीं किए जाते थे। दे कीप ऑन चेंजिंग इट। Okay, so this was something about Muktis, Ikatdars and Ikat. This is very very important topic. I am again telling you, just read this paragraph from your book very thoroughly. Next is like next we need to learn about what the tax on cultivation was called kharas. और वे 50% होता था, जो भी किसान उगाता था उसका 50% वो टैक्स के रूप में ले लेते थे, जिसको वो खराज बोलते थे। तो द टर्मिनोलॉजी इज खराज। व्हाट इज खराज? इट इज द टाइप ऑफ टैक्स ऑन द कल्टीवेशन, जो कि फसल होती थी उसके ऊपर जो टैक्स लगता था उसको वो क्या बोलते थे? उसको खराज बोलते थे। ओके, इफ वी मूव अहेड यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि चंगेज खान जो था वो कहाँ का रूलर था। ट्रांसोक्सेनिया का नॉर्थ ईस्ट ईरान में वो जो था वो रूलर था। ओके, सो दीज आर द स्मॉल फैक्ट्स विच कैन कम एज 1 मार्क क्वेश्चन। ओके, आपको ये भी पूछा जा सकता है व्हाट वाज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अंडर द दिल्ली सुल्तान्स। यू ऑल वेरी वेल नो दैट इट इज Persian. It might also be asked like in whose region did the Sultanate reach its farthest? It is your textbook question. That is the answer is Muhammad Tughlaq. Okay, and what is the name of a vizier who is from Africa? Ibn Battuta. So these are all small questions which can come from your book. It can also be asked that in the time period of Delhi Sultanate there was who was the ruler, like who established his own dynasty. Okay, he was Sher Shah Suri, who established his own dynasty, Suri dynasty, and for 15 years he like ruled over there. तो वो दिल्ली सल्तनत, वो फॉर्डर नहीं था, दिल्ली सल्तनत के अंदर उनका भी एक टाइम स्पैन आता है जो कि बहुत ही ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो इकत, तारीख, गैरिसन्स एंड खराज, ये इंपॉर्टेंट टर्मिनोलॉजीज हैं. इनसे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन इस चैप्टर में से आपको आ सकते हैं. तो प्लीज फोकस ऑन दिस पॉइंट्स. आपको क्वेश्चन इब्न बतूता पे भी आ सकता है, आपको इसके अंदर से सुल्तान मोहम्मद तुगलक पे भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. आपको मस्जिद वाले पार्ट से रिलेटेड टर्मिनोलॉजीज जो हैं वो स्पेसिफिकली वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट हैं, उनको भी थरली आप एक बार कैप्चर करने की कोशिश कीजिएगी. और नेक्स्ट लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द मुगल एम्पायर. मुगल एम्पायर पे जब सबसे द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज दैट यू शुड नो अबाउट द मेन रूलर्स which is specified in the table which is given on page number 48 and 49. You need to remember the name of these important rulers of Mughal Empire and their time span also. The date is also very very important. Like Babur, he ruled from 1526 to 1530. Then Humayun from 1530 to 5040, then a break, then in 1555 he came again to the power, but he died in 1556. Akbar from 1556 to 1605, Jahangir from 1605 to 1627, then Shah Jahan from 1627 to 1658, Aurangzeb from 1658 to 1707. These are very important. These days are very important. Next to it, the battles which they fought are also very important, like especially when we talk about Babur, because he has established this Mughal dynasty, Mughal empire in India. So the initial battles which was fought by him are of great importance. So you need to remember which battle he fought at Panipat. With whom, like he defeated Ibrahim Lodi and the Afghan supporters of Ibrahim Lodi in 1526, and the battle was known as Battle of Panipat. सबसे पहले पानीपत की लड़ाई. उसके बाद 1527 में he defeated Rana Sanga, who was a Rajput ruler, and his alliance in the Battle of Khanua. It is also important that he defeated Rajputs at Chanderi, which happened in the year 1528. Okay, so the battle he has done is very important. Then Humayun, Humayun had fought the Battle of Chausa, which is very important, and then Kannauj, and he was defeated by Sher Khan in these two battles. That's why he flee back to Iran. Okay, and then again in Iran, with the help of the Safid Khan, he recaptured Delhi in 1555. But the very next year, in an accident, he was dead. Then Akbar's military campaigns were very important because he expanded the Mughal Empire to a great extent up to Gujarat and then Bihar, Orissa. So and in the northwest he went up to Kandahar, and he defeated Sadips also, who had helped his father to gain the power in Delhi once again. So there are many important facts in this chapter which you need to learn. Okay. And this was about and then you need to learn about Jahangir and Shah Jahan, their period, Aurangzeb. Okay, but especially you will be focusing on Akbar and his techniques. You need to know the name of the books which are written on Akbar, like Akbarnama, Aine Akbari. The writer of these books you need to learn. I'm telling you what important points we need to revise while revising the whole chapter. Okay, then we will understand what is Japt and who were Zamindars. Zamindars and Japt, you have done all this in revision also. So the Texas, the zamindar are the local chiefs or headmen who like collected the tax from the villages and deposit this to the Mughal emperors. So they were like link between the emperor and the common man, and they have reputation in the society. So these were the zamindars. And you need to learn the important ministers, like if the Akbar's revenue, who was Akbar's revenue minister, Todarmal. So these facts you need to understand. What was Zabt? Zabt was a revenue system which was followed in the Mughal Empire. Okay, who were zamindars? Zamindars were the people who collect this Zabt and deposit this to the Mughal Empire. Then what was a Zagir? And who was Mansabdar, or who is Zagirdar? You need to understand all these things. Like Mansabdar is a person who has a rank or position in the Mughal Empire. So he was called the Mansabdar. Okay, and how his rank or his salary was determined? It was determined by Zat. What is Zat? Zat is the numeric value by which like the rank and salary of a particular mansabdar was evaluated. So what is Zat? Zat is a numeric value of the rank by which the rank and salary of a particular mansabdar was determined. Okay, this was about Zat. And as I told you, what is Sawar? Sawar is like a specified number of कैवेलरी मैन. दिस इज लाइक कॉल्ड सवार. वो सवार क्या होते थे? कैवेलरी मैन, जो हॉर्स के ऊपर फाइट करते थे, उनको बोलते थे. ओके, तो मनसबदार रिसीव देयर सैलरी एज रेवेन्यू, एज रेवेन्यू असाइनमेंट एज व्हाट? एज जागीर. सो व्हाट आर जागीर्स? जागीर्स आर द रेवेन्यू असाइनमेंट्स गिवन टू द मनसबदार्स एज देयर सैलरीज. ओके, इट वाज रिलेटेड टू द इकत. What Delhi sultans were giving in the form of ikat, Mughal emperors were giving that in the form of Zagir. Okay, उनका बेसिक डिफरेंस क्या था जागीर और मुक्तीस के अंदर? लाइक मनसबदार जो होते थे वो तो मुक्तीस पे ही रहते थे, लेकिन ये जो जागीरदार होते हैं ये अपनी जागीर पे नहीं रहते थे, वो दूसरे पार्ट में रहते थे, और जागीर उन्हें कहीं और की दी जाती थी ताकि वो अपनी क्या था कि पावरफुल ना हो जाए, कहीं एम्पर जो किंग है उसी को वो जो है थ्रेटन ना कर सके. इस वजह से इनको जो इनकी जो असाइनमेंट्स होती थी वो डिफरेंट प्लेस पे होती थी, और जहां से इनको रेवेन्यू होता था वो डिफरेंट प्लेस होती थी. अगर हम जहांगीर की बात करेंगे तो हम जहांगीर के बारे में नूरजहां का नाम, मेहरुनिसा, आपको ये चीज करना है. उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस इन द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ दैट पीरियड वाज, शी वाज वेरी डोमिनेटिंग. इवन वी फाइंड द कॉइन्स इन हर नेम. So she was a lady who was like having a great say in the politics of that particular time. Ibadat, what is the meaning of Ibadat Khana? You need to understand that it is a place where the discussion on religion held, and the various heads of different religions do participate. Brahmins bhi, Ulkas bhi, priest bhi, Catholic priest bhi, Zoroastrians bhi, everybody used to take part in those discussion. तो आपको इबादत खाना भी पता होना चाहिए कि what is इबादत खाना. You need to understand what is Sulai Kul. When it is asked what is Sulai Kul, you should know that it is the policy which Akbar has introduced for universal peace. And according to this idea, we need to tolerance, and there should be no discrimination between the people of different religions. Okay. So this was all in this chapter. You need to know the important names of the important rank holders like तोदरमल थे, या जो उनके अबुल फजल थे, वो हिस्ट्री राइट करने वाले थे. आपको इन सब टॉपिक्स को भी लर्न करना है. So this is all in this chapter, and if we move ahead on the rulers and buildings, you need to understand two technology of construction which was there at that time. आर्कुलेट थी और ट्रिबेट थी. आर्कुलेट के अंदर आर्च होती थी और आर्च के ऊपर सुपर स्ट्रक्चर का प्रेशर होता था, जबकि जो ट्रिबेट थी उसके अंदर तो वर्टिकुलर कॉलम्स होते थे और उसके ऊपर जो हॉरिजॉन्टली बीम जो थी प्लेस की जाती थी और फिर सुपर स्ट्रक्चर होता था. तो सुपर स्ट्रक्चर वो पार्ट होता था, पार्ट ऑफ द बिल्डिंग दैट इज अबव द ग्राउंड फ्लोर, जो ग्राउंड फ्लोर से अबव होता था, आइदर ऑन अ वर्टिकुलर कॉलम्स और ऑन अ beam. So this is the difference between this kind of two type of construction techniques. You need to understand what are the शिखरास. शिखरास क्या होते थे और किस तरह से डिफरेंटली बनाए जाते थे. तो ऊपर का उनका रेज्ड पोर्शन होता था, टॉप होती थी, उनको वो शिखरास बोलते थे. एंड शिखरास की डेफिनेशन भी आपको कई बार पूछी जाती है कि डिफाइन शिखरास. And then you need to learn about why, like what are the important structure which are constructed by the rulers of that time. So the rule for the common public, you need to understand that the important that water was very very important for survival of any civilization. It is still very important. So what they do, for what great things they do for their subjects, their people, they bring they build big reserves of water, and that is for building such a huge reserve of water. Sultan Iltutmish was considered very respectable in the history. So temples, markets, and this water reserves, these are the important things which were built by the emperors to bring harmony and prosperity to their subjects. Okay. And why were temples destroyed? You need to understand this thing also, because the temple are the showpiece of the power of any emperor, any ruler. So whosoever is attacking that particular reason, they just want to show that we have destroyed this thing. So what they attack, they simply attack, first of all they attack the temples and the important buildings. So temples were destroyed when one king just tried to give the message that we are more powerful from the native king or emperor. They just destroyed that temple. And there is a tendency between the emperors to loot the important things from each other's region and collect them and then show off them कि हमने देखो ये जीता है वहां से और हम उनसे ज्यादा पावरफुल हैं. तो एक तरह से अपनी ईगो को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए आप बोल दीजिए. छाछर बाग इम्पोर्टेंट है कि छाछर बाग, वटर छाछर बाग, ये 4 गार्डन्स होते थे. रादर एक बड़ा गार्डन होता था जिसको सिमेट्रिकली क्वार्टर्स में जो है डिवाइड किया जाता था. और मुगल एम्पायर के टाइम पे ब्यूटीफुल छाछर बाग जो है बनाए जाते थे, चाहे वो जहांगीर हो, शाहजहां हो. उन्होंने कश्मीर, आगरा, दिल्ली, बहुत जगह पर ऐसे छाछर बाग जो है वो बनाए हैं. तो टॉम्स और फोर्ट और गार्डन्स के बारे में जब आप पढ़ेंगे तो आप ये पढ़ेंगे कि मुगल जो एम्पायर्स थे बहुत अप्रिशिएट करते थे और बहुत बड़े बड़े मॉन्यूमेंट्स आपको उनके एरा के देखने को मिलते हैं. तो हुमायूं का टॉम इसके अंदर आपकी बुक के अंदर दे रखा है, आपको उसको देखना है. और इसके अंदर एक और चीज आपने याद रखनी है कि इंटरमिंगलिंग ऑफ आर्किटेक्ट वाज ऑलरेडी हैज बिगन. उनको जिस भी जगह की जो भी चीज बहुत अच्छी लगती थी या जिससे वो इंस्पायर होते थे उसको वो अडॉप्ट कर लेते थे. तो दिस लेड टू द इंटरमिंगलिंग ऑफ आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइनिंग थ्रू आउट इंडिया. तो आपको बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल्स ऐसे देखने के लिए मिलेंगे. लाइक हु कंस्ट्रक्टेड ताजमहल भी आ सकता है. शाहजहां ने बनवाया था, एवरीबडी नो दिस. कहाँ पर बनवाया था वो चीज इम्पोर्टेंट है. एंड दिस इज ऑल फ्रॉम हिस्ट्री. आई थिंक everything we have covered, and after that if you have any doubt in this particular history portion, we will take up all the doubts in the doubt class which will be at 12 today. So in civics, geography, all 5 chapters are coming. We have discussed, we have covered, done revision of all this chapter, and somebody was telling me to take up equality, but I have gone through your syllabus, and just 3 and 4 chapter of from your civics book is coming, which we have already discussed. So let's like concentrate on the syllabus which is there in the upcoming midterm exam, and whatever your doubts, please be ready, and we will be taking up all of these in your doubt class. So bye for now, and I will see you in the doubt class.